Did you know that until the late 1700s there was no bridge connecting New Brunswick and what is now Highland Park? Starting in 1685, John Innian established a ferry service to take people across the Raritan. The first bridge was built in 1795. Did you know that the World War I Doughboy Memorial Monument at Woodbridge and Raritan Avenues was erected in 1921? Or that JFK passed through Highland Park on September 15, 1960 on a campaign stop? If you're interested in finding out about and preserving Highland Park's history, well, so are we, and that's what this message is about.
Well, I've always liked history, and one afternoon, a few friends and I, we went to a Civil War reenactment, and lo and behold, we discover that there were two people, Mira and Bruce Form, who lived around the corner from me, and they were reenactors.
I guess like a lot of people who recently, over the past 20 years, let's say, took an interest in the Civil War through seeing Ken Burns' special that was on PBS when it first aired. And we both like history, and we were watching it, and we figured, well, let's see if we can find anybody that may be of our background ethnically, you know. So we started pursuing if there were any Jews in the Civil War, because we hadn't heard of that. So actually we went right here to the Highland Park Library and found a book called Middlesex County in the Civil War, and figured if we're going to portray somebody that was in the Civil War that was Jewish, this might have some names, and went through there and found some names that were possibly, you know, Jewish sounding last names. So I found Ash, and I figured, well, that could go either way, but Meyer definitely. So that's how I started, and in pursuit of Meyer Ash and finding out about him.
We became friendly, we kept in touch, and somehow throughout the spring and winter months we decided that we were going to try to create an event, a living history timeline, which we did last June. That was our very first event. We weren't really working as a group. We were really it evolved into just, let's have an event, let's have a historical event, let's tap into the network connections that Bruce and Mira had, and we brought it to Highland Park. That was the impetus to really start to think about revitalizing the historical society that had been founded by Jean and Joanne, but had been dormant for many years. So it was our goal to restart the organization and restart the society. And really to do that, we've convened an organizational meeting, which is scheduled for December 7th. It's a Sunday at 1 o'clock, and we'd like to have as many people come and help us start this, kick this off.
What we're hoping to do by revitalizing this historical society is to grow its membership, to involve the community. Jean Colva and Joanne Piscata have amassed a huge archive, which sadly needs a home, and we would like to find a home for these materials and enable the community to be able to access them, to research about people who lived here, to research about their homes, to research what life was like in Highland Park, 100 years ago, even 50 years ago. And once we have a collection, we have an archive, we hope to make it grow. People may have things that they would like to donate that other people would be able to then avail themselves of these materials. We all live here. A lot of us live in houses that have histories that some people would like to know about, or would just like to know about how Highland Park developed as a town and its role not as a subsidiary of Rutgers or as in the shadow of New Brunswick, but as Highland Park, as its own distinct community with its own distinct history and future. So it's a way of collecting and sharing local history among those who live here and want to appreciate it.
Sir.
We have many goals, but we want to start with 4 very basic ones. The first one is to have a history timeline, a living history timeline, which we've had one already and it was great, but we want to make it part of the street fair as a little adjunct to the street fair. And it would be just so perfect for that venue. The next thing we would like is to have a Highland Park 1905 Day. We want to have a 1905 Day to have community involvement, and also because that's when Highland Park was founded in 1905. And then the third thing is a lecture series that would have lots of local histories, the little things that happened, good things, bad things, maybe a murder, maybe not, but there's been some history in Highland Park, which we all want to know more about. And the last thing, we want our membership to grow. We need people, we need you guys to help us bring this about to be a really fun, viable organization.